Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, I apologize, I'm a little bit late. There's the open. Already seen a pretty decent range here within the last 20 minutes. Crazy things afoot. And the big news headline today is that the 2 and 10 year spread has flipped. I was actually thinking about making a video about it last night, but I decided to take it easy because it's better to put videos out on Monday. But now I'm thinking I should have done it. Lucas says, good morning. There was a wild rally pre-8 a.m. Excuse me, any news? I do not believe that there was any significant news. So, well, let's check the charts here first before I go into anything. Okay. So, ES has fallen as the 10-year, inverted. And then overnight we had a little bit of a move, and you can see here just another little move in the spread in the 10-year, and it's inverted now. Okay. So here's the thing with the yield curve inversion. Here's what I would watch, okay? There is a significant disagreement among monetary policy makers as to whether a inversion in the yield curve, well, there's two parts to this, really. The first part is an inversion in the yield curve today mean the same thing that it does in the past? Because the 30-year yields have been depressed anyways, because we kept rates for low for so long, and because we have low inflation and all of this sort of a thing. And so there's a question that, maybe the yield curve inverting doesn't mean what it meant in the past. Shalian says I was short from 29, 26.50. Oh, and he kind of took a profit and it feels bad. Well, it's okay. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity here, guys. I'll get to that in a second. Anyways, but then the second big disagreement among monetary policy makers, and the one that's really important here, is that some people think that a inversion in the yield curve happens because investors are predicting a recession. And some people believe that when the 2 and 10-year spread inverts, that it creates a recession. Does that make sense? Is it a predictor of a recession, or does it actually cause the recession? Is kind of one of the big arguments that has been raging around in monetary policy makers' minds. And because we have this special situation where the 30-year was low anyways, this gives us a really good opportunity to test which of those theories is correct, right? Does that make sense so far? So, what is it that about the 2 and 10-year spread inverting that may cause recessions? Well, what happens is, when the 2 and 10-year spread is inverted, that means that that 2-year treasuries are yielding better than 10-year treasuries. That's what that means right now. Okay, you can make a better investment. Well, you can make more on your investment through the life of the thing, investing in 2 years than you can in 10 years. And the way that banks make money is that banks basically they make short-term loans to customers, and they do it against 10-year loans, from the government or whatever it is, right? So they're making money on that difference between 2 years and 10 years. Well, if the yield is inverted, then they basically can't make money on that spread anymore. Well, I mean, they can still make money, but it's a lot harder for them to make money. And so the theory is that the inversion causes a recession because it causes banks to tighten lending standards. Basically, it makes monetary policy tighter. That's the theory. That's why this situation makes such a good test case, because we'll be able to see monetary policy is relatively easy already anyways. So if the banks cut back on lending standards, then you have a really good argument to say that an inversion of the yield curve causes recessions. Okay? Makes sense so far? So here's why this is important, is because this tells us what sort of things we need to look to. What are the things that the market is going to be paying attention to? So one of the things that the markets are going to be paying attention to is how are banks doing, and are they tightening lending standards? That's the biggest thing. If banks start tightening lending standards, that's really bad. That means that we're probably going to have a recession, okay? The second thing is how well are consumers doing? Because consumers, again, if consumers aren't doing very well, then everybody's going to tighten. And that means that, again, the 2 and 10-year spread is causing the recession, right? And then we would also be looking at the things that we've already been looking at. So are we seeing movement into the dollar as people look for a safe haven? And are we seeing inflation or deflation? Okay. Good morning, Uzi. And Shalon says, I'm mega surprised they reversed the ES move from yesterday. Didn't expect that. Well, didn't I say that there was a higher chance of it? Actually, I told somebody on Twitter that. By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to build up our presence on Twitter. I think it could really help the community out. So the thing was with yesterday was that they moved because of stuff with China, and the impression that I got from the administration was that they weren't expecting the markets to go gaga over this at all. So they were kind of surprised. So my take is that it was more likely to reverse because of that, because the piece of news wasn't really as significant as the market thinks. But again, one of the big things that the market is looking for here is foreign currency flows. And because it had something to do with China, you get this big foreign currency flow. China did move. And that gives us what we got going on here. Okay, I maybe got a signal there. Anyways, so those are the things that we should be looking at. And one of the big things that I'm noticing this morning is one of the top headlines on CNBC is that Macy's cut their forward guidance. So that's not good. Makes sense. Now, another thing that we should keep in mind is that if the spread inverting causes a recession, they're saying that it normally needs to be inverted for a quarter for it to matter. Though somebody is trying to reverse it there, but I'm a little skeptical of it for some reason. I think I'm just going to wait because it's in this zipper. Anyways, if the Federal Reserve comes in and cuts rates, this might uninvert very quickly. So that's another thing we need to keep in mind. Anyways, so that's the thing that I think we need to look for. Good. Any questions? Oh yeah, another one that you're going to want to watch, like for strength of the consumer, is housing numbers. Yes, sir. Okay. Do we have numbers today? We have import prices. So a measure of inflation. And we're getting, I don't know if I'm getting the number or not. I think that was just the move. So they moved down a little bit. Come on. So probably was better than expected. Yep, spot 2 versus a spot 0. Now you're getting higher, but I'm still a little skeptical. I think I'm going to hold myself here. So another thing that I'm noticing is that the swings here in this action are extremely volatile. We're getting 4 to 6 tick swings on a lot of them. So extremely choppy action. And that's maybe something that would keep me out. Yep, I told Paul Krugman yesterday that the move had a higher probability of reversing, because basically everybody was all positioned long in the Treasuries from last week. Ooh, really? Okay. Well, it's already telling me that I probably should have waited a little bit. Let's do it here. Should have said that earlier. Feels bad to take 2.25 pounds out of a 40-point move. Yeah, but you can be careful with that kind of emotion, right? Remember that, dang. Remember that our human brains seem to be more concerned about losing or missing out on something. And so, because we're built to withstand famine, basically. Like for our ancestors, famine was the biggest concern that they had to deal with. Oh shoot. I'm probably doing something crazy here, but I don't expect to get all those points, but at least, double should be fine. I think that was a bad call too. For only 365 to be trading there is not right. Yeah. And then not getting filled on the way back up. They're pulling to 216 and they're not trading it. Okay. Fine. When I get a signal like that, it can go through it for 2 to 4 ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's still a possibility of a reversal here. But I don't know, when it's doing that, it's not necessarily good action either. I don't see now it's going. Now, the split side to all of this is that some of that move overnight in the E-mini might have been a bit of nonsense, you know? Hmm. This is a very difficult flow here. It's just kind of curious that it stopped and decided to zipper here. Okay. See, it's not giving a clear reversal signal there, but the price action kind of appears, and the level two kind of appears like maybe they're going to bounce right there again. Like that. Hmm. Oof. That was a relatively forceful downtick there. And that as well. Just when it thought like when it looked like, oh, maybe they are going to turn it up for a little bit, and then they just got pulled down. Really pulled down, but they're not pushing it at 10.5 yet. Okay, there's one. But see, nobody's offering at 10.5. Okay. Well, this time they're trading a little bit more volume between these two. So that if they can get an offer there, that might give them more. Come on. There you go. That might give them enough people to try and hit out at 10. Wow, they held it. They held it at 10, half. 900 hit it and they held it. Well, they probably have the fuel, but are they actually going to do it? Okay. Ooh, 1,000 offered. All right, there's. What is a zipper? Okay, so a zipper is this little thing right here on the chart. If you can see, do you see that I'm circling? See how it's like, so the way that you'll see it on the DOM is we'll be here at like 9.5, okay? And they'll, sell through 9.5, and maybe a few will hit 9, but then 9 never goes offer. and then 9.5 goes bid again, and maybe a few hit into 10. And so you're basically in this 3-tick range, but really you're not even in a 3-tick range. It's just you've been trading across this one price 9.5 several times, and a few orders are going off into the outside of it. And so when you look at it on a one range chart, you get these, it looks like a zipper, right? So we call it a zipper. You get these sorts of things in the E-mini too, and they just call them consolidation zones. But it can be good or bad, right? There are some situations where they can provide some edge as to their direction, but usually when that starts to happen, it's difficult to tell which way it's going to go. So that's kind of why I point them out. Is like, we come down and we start to zipper. Okay, maybe I should take the profit. That sort of a thing. Does seem like they want to sell today. So one of the things is, I don't remember who told me this or where I got it from, but I remember people telling me that, like old timers telling me that when the 2s and 10s invert, that you start to see really odd order flow. And I'm not entirely sure I understand the current action. Like, I can kind of see it tick for tick, but I don't seem to see a larger picture right now. I can't tell if they're really trying to push it back down and trying to invert this or retrace this move, or what. I mean, the crazy thing is, we had a really strong down move yesterday, didn't we? Now I've seen it's clicking a lot now too. Bids. We had a really strong down move yesterday, and then that move overnight, we actually ended up higher than that move. How is that possible? Like, that's super crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think maybe one thing that we can do is we can load our levels. That might help a little bit. Okay. That actually does help a little bit. I wonder why that was all the way up there. Okay. So it's doing it again. It's doing it a lot. I'm kind of having flashbacks to last Tuesday, because remember last Tuesday it was doing this same thing, where it was giving a lot of signals and they were actually working, but they were only worth like 2 ticks. So like on that one, if I had gotten filled at 11, maybe I'd be okay. But here, I'm not sure. Okay. I think they could probably get 9.5 and maybe even 9, but then beyond that, it's like really uncertain. And like I said, it kind of looks like they're kind of chopping around. I don't know if there's a larger time frame desire that would actually push us slower, for instance. Well, uptick. I don't know. I should probably just try and stay out for now. You can hear that dog crying because we let him out yesterday when my wife went to work early. I'm not gonna let him out. He would just pee somewhere. So another thing is like this right here. This is something you'll see a lot is you'll get a zipper right here with a false breakout. See that? Sometimes those reverse really hard, but when you get that kind of a situation, like my take is that the market maker has the ability at that moment because of the liquidity, like they're not really iceberging on both sides of it necessarily. So that means they have the ability to, lift it up 2 ticks just to get people to trade into it. So that makes things a little bit more dangerous for us. I was thinking about adding Mixer on into the thing, and I forgot to do that. Maybe I can do that when I close the stream. After I close the stream, so we can have Mixer tomorrow and see what happens with that. There's John. Good morning. Let's see here. Does John have any kind of higher time frame guides for us this morning? Let's see if he sent out his notes. No, don't see anything yet. Ooh, I get my AMP report. I didn't get to look at that yesterday. What did it end up with after the fee? Oh yeah, we made up what we made up what we had lost that other day. So we're good, but we're not back up above when we really had a trouble. Okay, so it's moving back up. Ooh, the 5, I didn't see that. The 30-year maybe gave us a really good signal there, and the 5-year gave us a good signal. Well, what would be on the upside here? I think that probably one of the things we'd want to look at is the 30-year. Is that all-time high in the 30-year? Sure looks like it. Maybe I'm wrong. 10-year is not an all-time high. The all-time high is 130.27.5. Suppose you could probably use fib levels here, and maybe that would be useful, but I don't know. And the thing is this move down here was a little, I mean, like here in the 30-year, it happened at the top. Here in the 5-year, it happened as it was breaking. Well, yeah, basically as it was breaking out. And given the action that we've had, I wonder if these instruments are going to start doing it now too. And we turn there and we flip back down. Another one. And we just keep flipping around. Yeah, this is just incredibly... Okay, John's posting a picture here for us. Okay, June 24th, 2016, Britons voted to leave the European Union. Low of session 165.25. 173.25. Sorry, what was that? What did I say? 165.25. Okay. That's useful, John. Thank you. 9-day range prior to Trump election win. Let's just check the news here again real quick. I think it's getting time for a new keyboard because that I push that period button, it gives me two periods. Macy shares a bunch of stuff about the yield curve. 30-year threatens to break below 2%. See, I don't see anything other than that. Nice pop and drop there above 164.31. The upper end of Trump's 2016 election night move. Okay, so now I'm getting another one in the 30-year. And that one happened as they dropped out of 16. Hmm. Well, you know what? I think I need um, cumulative deltas. Cumulative delta. I think that's it. Okay. I like it. And this indicator right here, I think I'm going to at least move it off from over here. So it doesn't I don't think that we need that. It's just really bothering me that I can't see the delta. I'd like to watch that. And I kind of miss those Vista charts that are hidden behind. If only there was a way to show it all. I suppose what I could do, since I have these three, they're all one range charts. This one over here, well, I would need to add the spreads on here. We need to add the spreads on here. But we could do that too. Is it ever truly obvious from order flow between the spoofers and the HFTs? Well, when it starts to trend, ooh. Okay, that one, he is pushing it. Oh shoot. Thank you. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. I mean, I've seen a large order pop out of nowhere and follow it down and everything, but that was like they hit it, he hit back and pushed it down and offered it down lower. They hit it, he pushed back and offered it down lower. That was quite insane. Really, now you're going to have some profit taking at the low of the well, I guess it's not the low of the day, but it was the low of that last swing, at least was at 09. Okay, so they hit it. It's still profit taking. I think that they're probably going to have to trade like 5 or 6,000 there before it holds. Oh, okay, that time it did. Wow, and he moves it down again. Holy snikes. And look, they hit him, and he pushes it. Never seen behavior like that. Behavior that aggressive. Okay. Ticked up that time, though. So let's, no, maybe not. This was interesting. But then you got to ask, why would somebody want to push it down that forcefully, you know? Okay. I think you might be done. Let's kind of. No, come back. fine. Where did I actually take that? I took that at 10? Man. I really could have taken it off at 08, but geez. It's kind of like you get a tick 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 tick, and then all of a sudden maybe they'll hit back into it and they'll go up for a second, but then they'll push it back down. But then you get it, all of a sudden it'll tick down and it'll tick up and they'll put like 1,000 on that bid and it kind of pauses. That's you get out. That's where I like to get out, at least, if I'm not sure it's going to keep going. Because that just means that the temporary momentum is gone. Okay, so now he's spoofing the other way. And now he's doing it the other way. People got to be sitting there being like, what? Oof. Oh, I didn't see the ace went short. I'm sorry, ace. I didn't even. Good morning. He says he already got his 2 points, 28 and 92. So did we... Was that whole thing just because of ES? Oh, sure looks like it might have been. Okay. Well, we got a pretty big... Well, I wouldn't say pretty big, but a possible signal there. Let's see what it does. The E-mini is kind of looking a little... When I see this sort of a thing, that can be bad. Can be. Which might be why treasuries are acting the way they are down here. So they want to buy more. Well, what did we made 3 ticks off that last one, right? Yeah. Because I lost 4 on the first one. Well, really 5 on the first one. It gives us +4 on the day. That I think that I can afford to be patient here. If I see that spoof show up again on buying, though, I might want to try and hit it. should tweet some more here. Well, yeah, I'm kind of sitting here being like, oh, I wish that I had seen Ace see that so that I could watch it carefully. Maybe I would have tried to trade it, but I'm kind of looking at it like, probably better not. The thing that's really frustrating for me right now in the E-mini is, right now it's just not really moving or is in the place that I really feel comfortable taking a trade. Maybe I could take a long here, but then when it actually gets into a place where it seems like good opportunity to me, it's like moving way too crazy for it to hold a spot, Pretty yeah, pretty crappy. Hmm. Yeah, it's still kind of choppy. I moved it down and then you moved it up. I wonder if that was a robot that is always there and that we just can't see as easily because the liquidity is usually higher. Maybe possible. Mohammed El Al-Rain. These yield moves reflect in part another set of weak economic data out of China and Germany. The dynamicism of industrial production in China is the most muted for 17 years. Retail sales there also disappointed, and the German economy contracted in the last quarter. So seems to be saying that the yields moved and inverted because there are signs of recession, global recession out on the horizon. Man, when they move, every time that it kind of ticks there, like back and forth at 09.5, I kind of feel a little something like poking at my heart, like, oh, maybe it's gonna go. Maybe that's where you need to get in. So I'm feeling what is the word? Trigger happy, maybe? But then I look at it and I'm like, well, this is a choppy area. I have no clue what it's gonna do. They've really, it seems to me that they've built enough volume through here that they could probably do anything. And maybe when it breaks it, you'll get a decent move. Well, maybe we should take this opportunity to go in and do some. Where was this one that I made 46 on? This one right here. Okay. This one was a reversal. What about these other two? Are they two? What was it? That was a buy and a sell. This one that I lost 4 on was this one right here. I'm going to say, I'm just not going to put anything in for it. This one was a reversal. Okay. Okay, cool. My See Me guy says they have a big drop planned for the opening. Really? I saw a little bit of buying there really early. Then it came back down for no real reason. Five points is an ace straight. Okay. That one that I only took 3 ticks on is really disappointing. I really should have had another 6 tick winner. It would have put me at 12 today. Well, no, it would have put me at 12 minus 5, so it would put me at plus 7. Whoa, okay. Whoa, okay. Okay. That was pretty extreme. That was a lot. Well, we've seen that happen a couple of times now, haven't we? Is this where I just go short ace, huh? I kind of wanna. That did bump us up. TLT is at all-time high. That's the 30-year ETF. E-mini drop in there. Should have just taken it. I hate to get you in and get whipped out, right? Yeah. Well, let's find a spot. My indicator's not giving me a spot. You didn't see a spot. Let's just let it go. He says that's a full house. Well, that was pretty whippy though, wasn't it? You live to trade another day. My trades in the E-mini have been a bit of a wild ride. So that up move was pretty strong. I didn't get a clear buy signal on it. In fact, that was kind of when we were no. This I think this right here was the spoofy move, right? And then it churned, and then it moved up. But you kind of have to wonder if that churning move was somebody trying to get a lower price to push it higher. Or maybe they're just unrelated. I don't know. There was a big iceberg there at 11.5 too. I did it at 11.5 and they went through 1, 2, 3 ticks. And this move up happened as the E-mini was dropping. Getting a little bit more activity here. So that the treasuries might actually move down. I think it's too close to the E-mini. I think we should wait. Okay, there's the spoof again. Come on. Hmm. Well, Treasuries didn't quite react to that the way that I thought that they might. Okay. Well, that's a little better. Maybe they're like, you've just been messing with us. We don't want to play your game anymore, Mr. Spoofer. Well, the E-mini took the dive there, but they came back real quick. Darn. Darn. Chased that one. That sucks. All right. So did it take me out at 4? Yeah, it did. So what does that put me at? Jigsaw can't even tell me. Look at that. Jigsaw's like, I don't know anymore. Oh, I think that means 0. Yeah, that means 0. Okay, yeah, because 5 and 5. Or, sorry, 9 and 9. Yep. It shouldn't have let that go -6. That sucks. I mean, I tried to get out. Really, I should have been much more panicky about it, huh? Down tick. Clicky. Down tick again. Stopping there at 11.5. You could maybe buy that, but it's not giving a signal. a little frustrated on some of those losers because we haven't been trading bad today, but with the number, taking bigger losses on those than we probably should. And then you add the commissions on top of it, basically down $5 or something like that. Or no, I take that back. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like we're down a tick. Okay, now it's giving me something. It's very close to the E-mini. It looks like it's a buy. There's some iceberging going on in the E-mini. He says same here, buy signal, but too close to the open. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Because the signal that it's giving me here in the treasuries is that treasuries might actually move up. Like they're kind of saying that they're preparing to flip here in anticipation of that sell on the open that you were talking about. Okay, they broke through that. I was wondering there on that one that was like, should I have my trigger at 12? So what if I just bought there? Yeah. Okay. We would have gotten an edge, but not a tick, not yet. 10 seconds. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Okay. Woo. A lot of trade on the open. First impulse buying. Not too strong. Sell. Seems like the sellers are a little stronger. Down tick there. See, if I had bought 11.5, would have been great. Because I could be looking at the break, but now, the risk at 12.5 I don't like. And it's potentially giving me an exit. Although I'd say that one's probably a continuation. Yeah. So that sucks we missed one. A pretty good one, too. I mean, you took a decent little step there, but now there's some wild buying coming back in. Oh, this is wild. Okay, here's that spoof again. And they sold through him. Strong buying coming in there in the E-mini. I want to buy it here, but no signal. Seems like they're moving mostly because of ES. Well, this is a pretty wild chop in ES. I'm glad I'm not in that. So I'd be concerned about head and shoulders here. Haven't gotten, oh, no, I'm like, something's wrong. I should be getting tweets. Rand Squawk. Live footage of Larry Kudlow as he realizes the Dow is a few hundred points away from the real Donald Trump sending him out on CNBC dressed as Santa Claus. Okay. If we start to see market selling here in the Treasuries, I'd be really concerned. So far, though, nothing unusual. Dang, I missed it. False breakout. Looks like it. Jeez. So that one started accelerating, but they didn't break the neck. Basically, I tried to take it as she goes. Are you gonna make a video? Yeah, I think I will probably. Hopefully I have the time before Monday, but we'll see. There'd be plenty of time for it though. But I think it gave you the information that is most important to you, right? What is the data that they're going to be looking at now? Come on. Buy that E-mini, buy it. Nope. So this is not trading the way that I expected it to at all. They seem to definitely see the edge of it right there at 11.5. Even though the E-mini is buying, I would say that the move up so far in the E-mini hasn't been that dramatic, but they are buying. And you can see that the treasuries tick down as the E-mini ticks up, but then they don't hit 11. In fact, they can't really hold an offer there at 11.5. It's done it a ton. I should probably have been sitting there with my limit order at 11.5 and taking fills back and forth across this. Okay, here again. More iceberging at 11.5. Well, some puking that time. Hmm. Come on. You're killing me here. Just sell it already. Thank you. Jeez. Okay, now heavy volume at 10. That to me looked like a Head and Shoulders. I think that we could move from 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're perfect. Except for that, the E-mini is gonna go threaten the lows again now, huh? Fine. I'm afraid ES is causing choppiness in treasuries within this range now. Oh, absolutely. Without question. I had a pretty good man, it really sucks that I lost that 4 ticker. I'd be in a good spot now without that. Woulda coulda, huh? This is saying it's maybe a buy here at 10. But you're right, Lucas. It seemed what my experience has been, and I don't have like any kind of edge to tell us this or anything like that, but man, it's just happened to me so many times in the past that when the E-mini is the thing that's driving things, You're just better taking the trade in the E-mini. And would you really want to trade the E-mini right now? I don't know. Oh, look, it is going to go down and hit my target. Well, I think given how choppy it is, I think that I made the right choice. It's actually coming one short of where it should have. So, and we got a signal there. So we got a signal at 10.5 or so, and they've gone a little bit further. E-mini is threatening lows. Come on. That's a lot of back and forth. Oh, I missed Algo Lover saying sellers need to hold any bounce below 28.94. Looks like I missed that trade. Gonna be mad if they move down lower and give me a better spot. But it looks to me like the E-mini is like ready to just crater. And I got a really good buy signal in a spot that I wanted to see. It just wasn't fast enough. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're being so kind to me today, Mr. Market. Still says that there could be more. There was some profit taking there though. Okay. Seeing some bids. That I think is profit taking. Okay. That one might have been initiation. So Watch that 5-year a little bit more closely. So I missed my exit. Not that I missed like my exit signal, but I missed the turn. It was 10. So I should have been looking there. Some iceberging at 12.5 now. Just doing that thing again. They're like, are we gonna go or are we not? Okay. I guess they're gonna go. Sure enough, they only do so when the E-mini is like, okay, let's maybe sell again. Okay, so here's where we were before. I might get a spike here. Okay, so the 5-year at 02.75. Come on, let's stack that bid. Nope. There's the iceberg at 13.5. Ooh, it's a big one. It's a really big one. If the 5-year could hold a bid at 02.75, I would be very happy. Come on. Come on. There we go. It wasn't quite enough. What? 11? 12? Well, that's a monster iceberg, brothers. Now, when you go through an iceberg, it's common for it to go through it for 2 ticks. So that right there might not necessarily invalidate our position. Certainly need to think about it, though. Well, you see now that pulling at 12, that's not very good. Dang. Okay. So this is kind of making me shake now. I guess I'm okay, but that makes me awfully nervous. That's a strong buy move in the E-mini. It's actually telling me. No, no, stop. Okay, that because it ticked, that didn't end up being what I thought it was. That is really annoying. Okay. Now go Lover says juggling this AM, so have a good day. Sellers did hold, so 2873 is the target. This is. Ooh, my eyes are watering too. What's with that? Gabriel Anno says, how are you? Well, I'm feeling a little stressed out right now, to be honest. We're doing okay, but I haven't quite gotten like that. You know, I had that one and it was up to 7 and it came back. I'm just really upset about that. So I think that this should move higher, but it's not really, see, they're not really cooperating very well, are they? So we need to be like this. That one didn't fill. That's funny. No sellers there, huh? Okay. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here is, because I'm seeing that it's so chippy, I'm trying to just take one tick at a time where I can see that it's going back and forth across two prices a lot, to try and give myself a little bit more room to breathe. So I have to say this market action is incredibly stressful. Gabriel says, like to Brazil. Oh, thank you very much. Sounds like things are going a-okay in Brazil, and that makes me happy. It's doing a lot of that, making it unsure if they're going to hold the price or not. Makes for a much more difficult read. Maybe not. Some Portuguese that I don't. What does that mean, Gabriel? Okay. Well, don't like the way that went. They should be buying that back up now. Come on. Okay. Come on. Let's some buyers, please. Showing me that there's a little bit more interest here, but I'm still not getting a solid signal. This is just so chippy. My gosh. Okay. Come on. So you see how much it flickers back and forth when it takes a price? What is this? I'm not quite sure I know what that means. It seems to be messing up my read. Feels like the ES is about to pop to the upside. I don't know, man. Okay, so this one is zippering. It's not doing the fighting thing that it was doing here. Dude, this was at 14. Man. I lost a little bit through that, didn't I? Okay, now the E-mini is really pointed down there. It's actually a little bit too fast. Man, are they just going to bust right through the bottom here? How come I can't see the bottom? I was just barely out of view. Always a good moment to short when you feel that. Oh, Gabriel says it's all calm here. I see. My Portuguese all comes from a 2-hour makeout session in college, says Ace. That's hilarious, dude. Okay. Come on. So they're going to run into zaniness here at 14. Oh man, I forgot about the iceberg at 13.5. So remember, there was an iceberg at 13.5. We fell through it, and then after we fell through it, it's just been chippy chop chop. Bye, my friends. Thank you for stopping in again, Gabriel. Always nice to see you. So if they do get above 13.5, that could mean that there might be more, that they might be pushing the highs now. Could be wrong. Could be that this guy already gave up, but we'll see. Okay. Well, the 5-year is looking quite a bit more promising this time. Let's make sure we have one of these here, huh? Okay, so like I said, at 14 is where there's going to be a lot of profit taking at the very least. If they can get above this, then they might accelerate a little bit. Let's reset this. Previous high was 17. That's a good spot to put it. Let's be on our toes. Oh, I am getting, there was a, okay, that was the continuation. No. Yeah, 5-year really went on that up move, by the way. And here is the E-mini. Feeling sad. Everything's so terrible. This is the E-mini. This is what the E-mini is thinking right now. Germany's going into recession, and the yield curve is inverted, and China is going to go and attack Hong Kong. It's just, my life is over. Not to be light of the many bad things that are happening in the world. But she's unhappy. She hasn't run into temper tantrum phase yet, though. Well, a little bit too much trade happening here. I think that I have to get out. Even though I think there could be more in this. Come on. So, if we look at that trade, when is it placed? Okay. 8. Eleven half. Okay. No, I think I did okay on that. Well, it never give me another signal. Oh shit! I did not notice that the the knob has flipped here. Ugh. That's interesting. So that means if I can make some space to draw a picture here. We have a yield curve. Okay, so here there's let's say we know that the 10 and the 5 are already inverted. Okay, and now we know that the 2 is inverted as well. But then between the 10 and the 30, okay, so it was like, let's just say that the 10 and the 30 was like this. Well, I don't think that the 30 is inverted below these, so the 30 is probably above these ones. So it's probably like this. So you had a yield curve like this. And now we're getting a yield curve like this. It's only a teeny tiny move, but it's definitely there. I think I played that. I got out at 14, right? It seems like I did an okay job there. It's not telling me if I can get anything. So to have come out today, although I did a couple of unusual and crazy things to do that, the yield curve is angry eyebrows. There you go. It is. Just in, Beto O'Rourke returning to presidential campaign after El Paso shooting. So, let's review what happened with Beto O'Rourke's campaign. There was a shooting in El Paso. He comes back, takes care of this situation because that's his place. And his presidential campaign still has absolutely zero chance of winning. And he shouldn't have run for president, and nothing has changed. He just had probably the best news event that could happen to him. Didn't help him. Didn't help him. I don't know if there's anything that Beto can do at this point to help his fortunes, except for maybe hope that the other candidates implode. You know? Maybe Bernie Sanders drops out. Then maybe Bernie Sanders drops out, and then maybe he can become the anti-Elizabeth Warren. Like, that's what you got to be thinking for him. This chippy action. I tell you what, this thing right here, so I was in it through all of that. That's the thing that's so frustrating on this, is I had this, and we came back down in here. I did give up some ticks down there. I could have just let it, I could have waited, but no, it took out, I had to take the risk off, and then I put some back on, and then we got that. So, yeah. Now the thing is that this swing was 11, and we got 6. So because of that, we probably left half on the table. But hey, we've got 8, 9, 10 ticks. We've got 10 ticks even after taking some losers that I was really unhappy with. What is that? Is that number right? 171? That doesn't seem right to me. That's 11 ticks. I'm just trying to figure out where it all come from. So if we add, that's 128. That's 128. And then you add those together. Okay. I didn't realize that I got 6 tickers twice. Well, they came back up. ES is not broken through yesterday's lows. It's just kind of like a slow churn lower. I'm wondering if we're going to see a spot here in the E-mini that there's going to be a ton of. I am noticing that there's more activity on the level 2 down here than there was earlier in the session. So they may be buying it. I don't think that that's a trade that I could take at this time, but I do think they're buying it. Another thing I'm thinking here, I'll show you the window, right? Is, okay, so like I said, these I was really unhappy with. These, this one I felt should have been more, a lot more. Where was the one? Oh, I didn't get any adverse ticks. There was one that I was like, that shouldn't have happened. Well, it was this one. It was this first one. This first one, the trade actually was good, but I was early to the trade, so they stopped me out and then they went down, and it would have been a good trade. And we should keep in mind that there was 2 signals that I missed. Like I could have marketed into them, but I was too cautious, and so there could have been even more in this day. But what was the point of all that? Oh, the point of all of that was that to get some of these, I was trading multiple contracts, which was taking on a lot of risk and making me feel a little bit nervous, but it was the only reason that I was able to come out on top. And I guess if you consider that I was using 2 contracts at some point, it's really like +5 ticks. So if we take the fills 2, 4, 8, 12, 16, 18, 28. That's a lot. 28 times 3.5. Wow. So like almost $100 in commissions. Still profitable, but too much. So some adjustments. I don't know. I kind of think that a lot of those things will just kind of come with experience, but we'll see. But it's still profitable, so that's nice. And we're on a pretty good win streak, aren't we? Let's pull up our little yield curve thing. Where is it? There's this chart that is just so, oh, here it is. Dynamic yield curve. Let me show you the yield curve. Oh, yes. Okay, so that's exactly like what I was kind of drawing, wasn't it? Right? The short-term rates are yielding more than the 10-year. You can see. I guess the 10 and the 5, the 10 is still yielding more than the 5. So that's interesting. And then the 30 is still more than the 3 months. And when you add this on here, you can kind of see the trail lengths. That kind of shows you the yield from day by day. So if I add this one on here, okay, can you see that? So the longer end got pushed down. See, the longer end got pushed down and the shorter end got pushed up. The 5 years specifically. Isn't that interesting? Does that make sense why it does that? Because where are the people buying? Just you been watching the DOM past few days, where have the people been buying? Ding, 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 ding. Right here. And when they sold, where did they sell? Sold over here in the 5. So, if we do that this was, okay, when they were buying, so this was up, and this was down. Right? So then you have to flip it all around and in your head and everything, right? So really that meant that the yield went up and this yield went down, and then we flip these around so that, you know, this one actually went up, well, over here. So this one went up and this one went down. Makes sense? But see, that's why I put my instruments the wrong way. I put the 30-year over here and the 5-year over here, because then it kind of matches up in my head, at least, that I can say, okay, this one moved up and this one moved down. So then when I can look over here, I should be able to see this one, this side moved up and this side moved down. So I can see, okay, if it's like this, flattening. If it's like this, well, did it do it between the 10 and the 5? Yeah, it did. Where would be a good example? Well, anyways. Technically, this one went up too, and this one was down, and this one. So you got that, but I digress. It makes sense in my head. Probably doesn't make sense in your head. And there's probably a couple of things that I said in there that probably weren't quite right. But anyways, so if I come back to this, the great thing about this is you can go back and look at it over time. So there's a normal yield curve. Okay. Now that's not good, right? So now let's look at what we were doing last time. So if we're like right here, okay, kind of looks familiar, right? There's now, there's then, there's now. Or sorry, there's now, there's then. Inverted. Inverted. And look at the chart. Kind of looks familiar. Gets kind of choppy up here at the top. Kind of over here too. And this one was kind of weird. There you go. Inverted. Come back. Now the difference this time though is, the reason why everybody thinks that things are different is, okay, here was the start. Okay, here was, let's say before it inverted. Okay, there's healthy, right? Okay, healthy curve. But look, the rates are so much lower. So much lower. And see, the thing is, look at here. Okay, so here is it inverted. Okay, and the short ones are yielding 4.65. Okay. And the top end is yielding 4.65. And what are we getting over here? Not even 2.32. Right? So, and what was the 5s? Okay, so like here when it was pretty healthy, okay, the short terms are at 2.32. And now over here, the short terms are at 2.32. Right? So basically, the reason that this curve is inverted is because these aren't higher. Right? What we would like to see is this should be up here. This should be up here. You know, it should be something like that. You know, something like that. Right? But because we've kept the yields so low, that's why some people are saying, well, yeah, the yield is inverted, but the real reason that the yield is inverted is because this end is so much lower than it's supposed to be, or that it normally would be. So if that happens, and this is the market predicting a recession, you know, the amount that it needs to move for that signal to happen is less. So maybe it doesn't actually mean anything, because the Treasuries didn't actually have to move that far to make it an inversion, right? So that's the argument one. But then the argument two is that it doesn't matter, because if yield curve causes recession, then what's going to happen is everybody's going to say, well, why should I make investments over here if I can just buy over here? So they go for the short-term profit. And then because they're going for the short-term profit, the economy overheats and falls apart. So that's the case of yield curve causes a recession. And what would be, and again, well, like I said earlier, what would be the signs of which one is happening? If this is causing a recession, then what you will see is, one, banks will tighten. Two, consumers won't be doing as well. Three, housing won't do very well. Even though the rates are low, people won't be buying houses. Okay. And then four, you'll see a lot of capital inflow into the dollar. And five, what's the fifth thing? Lack of inflation. Lack of inflation. So which of those things are we seeing right now? We don't really have inflation. Housing hasn't been too great, but maybe it's improving. So we kind of want to wait and see on that one. The banks, though, are banks tightening? Not really. Are consumers having a hard time? Not really. So, and those two are kind of the big ones. But we are seeing capital inflows. So it's kind of 50-50, isn't it? But that just means, when we look at our calendar here now. So let's close that. Let's pull up our calendar. Okay, what do we got coming up? So today is Wednesday. We had import prices. Okay, so tomorrow we got a big number of things. Core retail sales, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, non-farm productivity unemployment claims. Okay, so we got a ton of numbers tomorrow on the 15th, right? And these right here are big. Big. Because if that core retail sales number comes out, especially, and that number is bad, then everybody's going to be like, it's happening. And if this number comes out and it's good, then it puts that whole thesis into question. So you're going to see really wild move off of it, probably. Any questions? By the way, good morning, Jake. You're a little late, though. So he's been here he's been here every day this week, hasn't he? It's nice to see you. But here's what I think you should do, Jake. So I think you should go and install a NinjaTrader demo. And you should be sitting and watching it here at 8:20 Eastern time, because that's when it opens. And have some fun. You know what I mean? So what, do we got anything else going here? I don't think so. I should post my notes. It's almost 8:30. Oh. Oh, there's a comment. Yesterday. Good deal. Okay, I'm gonna type a few things here. He says, don't use NinjaTrader, it's trash, install Sierra charts. Well, so does Sierra charts have a demo though? Because maybe I need to go and try it, because I've never tried installing it. But the primary reason why I recommend NinjaTrader is because that's the easiest way for a new person to just get up and started. So, whatever. Whatever people like, really, though. I don't live in the USA. It doesn't matter. Wait, where do you live? You live in Europe. He told us, didn't he? I've already forgotten, and I feel bad. I'm a terrible person, Seth. You need to pay attention to people more. If you call AMP, they can send you a 30-day demo of Sierra charts. Well, okay. But for NinjaTrader, I just put my name into a field and it sends me an email. And I can be up and going in like 5 minutes. I'm from Sweden. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So you can still do it. In fact, I think pretty sure that you can AMP takes clients from Sweden. And there's brokers in Europe too. But yeah, you have complete access to these markets. If you lived somewhere like the Middle East, or then it kind of gets a little bit more complicated, and I don't know what the deal is with that, but I've had people come and ask me questions about it, and I'm like, well, I don't really know, and then I never hear from them again. Generate charts. Of course, there's the Bitcoin part too, huh? But I'm not too thrilled with the Bitcoins. Although, look at that move in the Delta. What's with that? Pretty deep pullback, I would say. You bought Bitcoin at the bottom today? So at like 10.5 or 10.450 or so? I mean, that's a decent move. The thing that's funny is the futures and Coinbase do not match up at all. Well, let me pull up my other chart that I like to look at. Okay, so here's the action. kind of hard to even show it, but maybe if we went to like a 6-hour chart. Okay. Now you can kind of see, the thing that we're looking at. But the thing is that this move right here was, kind of China related stuff. So it's still not, it's basically another wave after this. Did you guys see that news story where they were like, Goldman Sachs recommends buying Bitcoin to clients? And it was in a note that just some analyst put out that was, I think, just his opinion. And I don't know the person. It wasn't anybody that I really knew when I was there. But his whole analysis was basically based on wave theory. And remember we were talking about wave theory the other day, and we were saying, well, you get to move up and then down, up. And that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you get 1, 2, 3. And that's the pattern, right? But he was saying something about wave theory that was not that, basically. And I'm just like, okay. Like, that's what they're... It just seemed to me like incredibly unsophisticated that Goldman Sachs is potentially recommending you invest in Bitcoin based on wave theory. Was like, really? I mean, listen, if you want somebody to draw lines on a chart, I can do that for you. You don't need Goldman Sachs to tell you that, right? Here, look, I'll do it. Watch. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make this big. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Okay, so that's too much. We don't want to see that much. Okay, we only want to see from the start of this move. Okay. Oh, I guess to right there. Okay. Cool. All right, so here we go. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Wait, no. This one is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. So some of these were not big enough. Okay, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. Maybe this is 9. And all I'm saying is, doesn't really seem to be following any kind of numbered pattern to me. Here's what I see. Here's my analysis of Bitcoin. They bought it. And then ever since here, they've been selling it. And now, a potential turn. A potential turn. Bum. Based on what Seth is telling us, I'm going to buy Kodak or invest in the Telegraph. There you go. Instructions unclear. Own Kodak stock. Oh, man. Anyways, so I see that. And then what I see, there's also a bigger picture here, though, that I can see. If we really zoom out. Can we really get out? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it shows us everything. It shows us everything. Okay. The big move. Here's what I think is going to happen. I'm just going to like guess, okay? So this is like, this is speculator's death stuff. I'm speculating like hardcore, okay? I think that it's going to go up to maybe around here. Then it's going to fail hard. Boom, 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 boom. Why don't you look at volume? Well, we do look at volume. So, let's go back further over to here. Oh, I can't even see 3,000. Well, whatever. This thing down here is volume. It is volume. But what it's telling you is market buys versus market sells. So what does it tell you? It means that the CME future traders at the very least have been selling it overall. But what we've learned over here in the 10-year is that it's even more complicated than that, right? Here we go, over here. Notice, man, the 10-year has just been a real ride today. Okay, so here's some critical points in the 10-year. Right here at 717, and then again at 747. Some critical points. But look at what we see in this histogram is we see a critical point right here. How can I do it? Here. And then here. And I'm going to say here. Right? So here was a top. Here was a bottom. Here was a top. And then you can see that this one was the one that the volume really reacted to. But the reason why this one went down like that was because there was an iceberg there, right? That was an iceberg. So really based off of that, look at where the biggest spikes were in reality. Okay, zoom in a little bit. Look at where the biggest spikes were in reality. Bottom. They're buying it. They're actually buying it with limit orders. I just have to point out that 20 points is a good day. Don't worry, I'll use the money to buy another contract in school class. So did you hold it through that open? Or did you take another trade that I missed? Well, I was... No, I don't see anything. I see Algo Oliver's target there. See, the thing in ES is that, well, I didn't really pay attention to it, but I guess I got one at 749 that was a buy, potentially a buy. There I got to sell at 28.79. So I guess I could have gotten 5 points. I don't know if that's really the opportunity I'm looking for, but okay. No, I held the contract since the open. Okay, good deal. Well, and you made a pretty I mean, it wasn't nearly as great as it could have been, but you made a really great one yesterday too. I'm just happy because I lost a little bit the one day, and then I made you know, did 30 yesterday. So I'm up on the E-mini, but I'm not where I'd like to be. I would really like to have put in like $100 into that account or something like that, you know. Oh yes, so I was going to type here on Bitcoin. Okay, there we go. I should do something to promote my Patreon. I just don't know what out of ideas. Other than just to mention it to you guys, if you haven't checked out the Patreon, check it out. Post Bitcoin charts every day. If you subscribe, you can see the charts that day. And I kind of think of it as like a, hey, if you appreciate the channel and you want to help out, because I take that money and I put it back into things that actually help the channel. Like that's where I got the light from, for instance. And hopefully I would like to use it. I mean, I do need to save up and put some money into account so we can go live again. But the next thing that I want to be doing is getting some web space, I think. So there's a couple, especially since the futures.io doesn't really let us post stuff anymore. Would like to have a better way of organizing some stuff for us so that you guys can get like the indicators and things like that. Anyways, so yeah, if you haven't checked it out, please do so. I think we had an okay day, so you can give this video a like. You should always like it, but especially when we're profitable, right? And thanks everybody for the likes that we got yesterday and all the comments on the videos. It was great. I had a lot of fun yesterday. Today was a little stressful for me. I think it was this way because, well, I mean, first of all, we swung a lot. But I also think that I was kind of remembering last week and I knew that this was going to possibly be the same. And, you know, I guess I didn't realize that there were so many big pieces of news tomorrow that might have, I don't think it would have really changed anything because I knew that it was choppy the whole time. But whatever. Wish I had got that one. That was a good 8-tick trade. Oh well. But we got more than 8 ticks. Any day that I get more than 8 ticks is amazing, you know? So, well, I think that's about it. I think we're going to shut it down. We've been going like really long lately. It's time to shut it down. So I will catch you guys tomorrow. Don't miss it because it's going to be, that's pretty big news. Releases tomorrow. So I'll catch you guys then. And in the meantime, stay profitable.